What's up, guys? I'm just going to journal a couple of missed trades from yesterday, the 4th of September, which was a Wednesday, on euro dollar and pound dollar. Honestly, this week I've not really felt connected to the market. I was watching those trades. I was also busy doing other things, so I wasn't fully invested in what was happening with the market. But I was watching, obviously, I did my pre-market analysis. I was watching what was going on, so I just want to do a quick review of the trades that I missed and why I missed them. So yeah, pound dollar going into yesterday. So Tuesday closed like this. We've been bearish since last week. We've failed to make a new high last week, and then we displaced down, closing below this breaker block, and then we've come into this second fair value gap, right? So we've got this first fair value gap right there, we got second, and we also have a third fair value gap above an order block, which also sits with this fair value gap right here. The third one sits with this weekly time frame fair value gap. So for me, I've been waiting for price to tap into that fair value gap and look for a long opportunity. However, on Tuesday we held this low, but with a bearish engulfing candle, not a strong engulfing candle, but still a bearish engulfing candle. And then going into Tuesday, Tuesday morning, we displaced bullish after rejecting that daily time fair value gap, which also happens to be at a sell side liquidity, or this swing low right here on the 240, which is another good sign that price has found some kind of a support at that level, especially when you have a fair value gap on the 240 time frame, which just shows bullish displacement. And given the fact that we've come down, I identified clear drawn liquidity at this level to start off with, and then ideally these highs up here. Also on the 60-minute time frame, we after rejecting this low, coming down with this sharp bearish momentum, we start to shift direction. We had a fair value gap here that was rejected, if you can see, twice with these pin bars, and then we continued higher. And I was watching this the whole time. I expected price to come down to this low and go through the 240 fair value gap, and I was looking to trade at that level. However, I don't even know. So yeah, we started the day, hazing session, closed above. I saw price come down to the start of this level, retest this, pushed up. There's not really any entry for me to take up there, although you can see price displaced with this fair value gap, so there was potential entry if you wanted to trade down to this low. And as this was happening, I waited for price to come down to the low. So yeah, London session was over, price started to consolidate, and as New York opened, so this was 7:15, that's 12:15 the UK time, I dropped down to the 5-minute time frame. I saw price tapped into the 240 fair value gap, closed above this high, which is where it will trap a lot of buyers, because that's a market structure shift for a lot of people. That didn't interest me. Then price came to the 50% level. Then we got another market structure shift. Again, this didn't really interest me again. Why? Because didn't interest me. I just I didn't like the way it came down. I wanted to see how price was going to react. Ideally, I had taken the trade there, because that is also, it goes through the fair value gap as anticipated, and then provides a market structure shift. So I wasn't a bad trade in itself, but I was looking at this fair value gap. I don't know if you can see. I wanted price to clear all of those fair value gaps on the 5-minute time frame before I looked for an entry. So this was a fake out of market structure shift, and now is the real trade. Right, we don't reach these equal lows. And yep, I was watching this candle. I even put my this indicator, wherever this is, on, and then I just continued watching, and then I thought maybe it'll come back to this 240 fair value gaps 50% level and found support. Again, I didn't place an entry. Honestly, I started doing other things and missed this trade. Yeah, we had this, right? Displacement, close above all of these bullish fair value gaps, come back into that 240 fair value gaps 50%, which was the entry that you could take, and then go long up to these highs. And then after that, price news comes out and it just pumps up to the daily time frame fair value gap, which is around, I think it just taps into that daily time frame fair value gap, wherever that is. I think the daily time frame fair value gap is right there. So yeah, that was a potential trading opportunity, mainly because of the fact that we rejected daily time frame fair value gap, second fair value gap, right, in a pullback in discount. This first one would not have interested me as much. Even if it had, it would have been a very short-term trade. It's the second one. Ideally, I wanted the third one to get tapped into, but it didn't. Displacement with 240 fair value gaps. Come down to that fair value gap on the lower time frame in a New York session, and also the fact that we had two failed market structure shifts, which was trapping in, where it was trapping buyers and taking out liquidity below the lows with people's stop losses. And then we got this strong displacement followed by immediate bullish displacement with fair value gaps, and then tap into that 240 50%, and you can look for an entry to go up. So that was one trade, mainly missed because I just haven't felt confident taking any trades this week. And maybe it's because NFP, I was watching this entire thing fold out as it has right now. I even placed this indicator first at this low, then at this level, and I still did not open my trading platform to execute the trade, but just lacking confidence this week. The second trade on EU could have been taken in a price, took out liquidity of this high and tapped into a daily time frame fair value gap, which is this fair value gap. However, looking back at it again, I don't feel as bad about this one, because I would much rather price take out this high at that 50% of that daily time frame fair value gap and then look for a shorting opportunity there. But price is coming back up to that level, so I will keep an eye out on that. I kind of, there was a trading opportunity on GU. It was a short opportunity in the London close session that honestly I wasn't even paying attention to. Like I said, I was busy yesterday, so let's just analyze this. We've been bearish ever since we rejected that monthly time frame fair value gaps, consequent encroachment, deep in discount. We rejected that level multiple times, displaced down, closed below this breaker, closed below this bullish fair value gap, which in turn turned into a bearish inverse fair value gap for me. On the 240, I was expecting price to come down to these lows. This is like equal lows that I expect price to find some kind of support, but we start to find displacement before price could reach that level. We just found support at these fair value gaps, pushed up. The entry was during, like I said, during the London close session, as price moved up into this 50% of that daily time frame fair value gap, this order block on 240 time frame. And for me, my POI is the fact that it's at this 60-minute fair value gap, which is above this swing, below this order block, and the fact that it's deep in discount just means it's a stronger POI. And as price approached that during London close, I would have much preferred to just short at these highs anywhere, and then place stops, give me some room, and taking target at target 1 to 1. I would have been happy with that. Like I said, that was a good entry because I like the way price approached that with this strong displacement during news, but after news we also had, you know, this pause before price pushed up, and then we had this fair value gaps that price eventually closes past, and yeah, we've got this breaker block. Ideally for me, I want to trade at these highs, especially during these sessions when it comes to this strong POI, because waiting for price to displace and then entering on the pullback is sometimes too late, and I would much rather enter early and exit early with stops and give myself some room with the stops. So yeah, this was the trade that I missed on pound dollar, and target would have been somewhere at this fair value gap, because I don't want price to, you know, I don't expect price to come down to these equal lows as I was predicting yesterday straight away. So yeah, let's see what happens with that.